answer more questions?
Which again, I would like to point out is a service to our local community.
Thank you. Okay, I know we have one gentleman here. We're going to go back here and we're going to go over here.
We've heard a lot about the supervisor of wells tonight. To me, that's kind of a mystery person. I'd like to know what that person's name is, how did they get their job, and to whom is that person accountable?
Great question.
The supervisor of wells is Dan Wyant, who's the director of the Department of Environmental Quality. The assistant supervisor of wells is Hal Fitch, who's also the state geologist. The assistant supervisor of wells obviously has a lot of the delegated authority and day-to-day running of the Office of Oil, Gas, and Minerals and the regulatory program. But ultimately, the director is the supervisor of wells. The director is appointed, the governor, I believe. Yeah. The assistant supervisor of wells, the state geologist, hired, appointed, promoted, could get fired. He's right at that level that, but in our case, he came up through the ranks, like a political appointment. Our current supervisor of wells has been through since 1996 now, so he's been in a couple Republican administrations and Democratic administrations.
Okay.
Just a quick question. I've heard a lot about various amounts of water used for the hydraulic fracking, and it gets put into some kind of system for storage. Has there been any talk or trials done where you could take that existing water, filter it out somehow, and reuse it for another well drilling, so that you're not doing 5 to 30 million gallons for every well, but you're reusing some of it since it's already polluted, and you're not polluting new fresh water?
Yeah, there is technology out there that you can do that, and where that's really critical is in the state of Pennsylvania, and I know there's some companies that have been looking at doing that. It's a matter of economics, but the technology is there to do that.
Okay, I'm going to do 2 more questions. This gentleman and that gentleman had his hand up, and then we will wrap up for the evening.
Hi, I'm a resident of Ottawa County, but I have a vested interest in this whole enterprise because I also own a piece of property in upstate New York, smack dab in the middle of the Marcellus Shale. So when I went back 6 years ago to buy a piece of property, I saw these signs along the road, no fracking, and I thought it was trying to get away from using another word, but I gradually got informed what it entailed. So I've been kind of keeping my eye on what's been going on. Gas shale wells, the first one was actually drilled in Fredonia, New York in 1821. This is nothing new. I've had my eye on what's been going on just to the south of New York and in Pennsylvania. And not too long ago, the EPA, who I would, in my opinion, not view as a friend of fossil fuels, if we want to be honest about it, deemed that there was no linkage between hydraulic fracking and contamination of water. That's from the words of Lisa Jackson, the former EPA commissioner. Would anybody on the panel like to address that particular report and its results?
I'll go ahead. I don't want to use up all the oxygen in the room, but when we have incidents in the oil and gas industry, you can come out guns blazing. We've had some instances in Michigan that we've had to look at, and you don't come out guns blazing without the facts, getting out into a debate in the papers. You do the science and you look at it. And the EPA, unfortunately, has had some instances in Pavilion and in the Marcellus where early indications and headlines were fracking causes such and such. When you run the science, and that's where you've seen the EPA have to back down in times, and you can say it's mixing words, but is it fracking that caused it, or was it well construction? Well, we call it what it is. If it's the fracking operation and the completion, we say it's fracking and completion. If we say they had a subsurface blowout related to improper well construction, or in the case of Pennsylvania where they didn't have any well, the Marcellus Shale explosion hit them without any well design requirements that we've had in place in Michigan since 1973, then we call it a well construction issue, or, you know what I mean? So yeah, they've had to back down. I don't think it's this ominous conspiracy theory that they've been told to rein it in. The president's been clear that he's in favor of all the above, you know, in the energy portfolio. It's all of them. The EPA's had to back down because they had some bad studies. And if you dig a little deeper, sure, you can go to some websites that say the EPA backed down or ate this study, but if you look it out, and I mean, I sat talking to the director of EPA or Environment and Health last week of Colorado. She explained that they had exactly one of those situations. EPA came out blazing, the state did their study, and it's not related to hydraulic fracturing, so that's what you're seeing.
I again encourage everyone to look at that movie called Unearth the Fracking Facade that really talks about this issue. It's a very important distinction that they're making. And the EPA is backing down. Take a look at the movies Gasland and Gasland 2, especially Gasland 2, where he's revealing what's really going on with EPA. He also interviews EPA whistleblower Wes Wilson. If you can see anything by him, he's really good. The science that EPA was doing was revealing the horrors of fracking, and then there was a lid put on it, and now things are being pulled. And on camera, the people in Dimock, Pennsylvania, and Pavilion, Wyoming are being told by EPA people, your water's safe to drink, but hey, I'm off the record, totally personally, not speaking as an EPA person, I wouldn't drink it. So what exactly is going on, who knows, but it's not honest.
One more question. Do you have a question, sir?
Yes, forgive me if I say your name wrong. Ms. Willian, did you move closer or further away when you moved from central Michigan to northern Michigan to thousands of fracked wells?
What's your question?
Why did you move closer instead of further away to thousands of fracked wells?
It's a personal question that I don't need to answer why I moved.
Okay, I've just got two announcements.
I'm remarried, if everyone would like to know why I moved. Okay, I mean, is that really what you need to know? Okay.
If you are here for education credits for MSU Master Citizen Planners, please see Aaron. I want to thank Aaron for putting together a lot of the details and